Okay, hey, welcome to another episode of On Point EDC. You knew it was coming. A comparison. Urban Survival Gear TiScribe-Bolt versus the Tactile Turn Slim Bolt Action Short. Now, this is not a death match by any means, because there are no losers here, guys. Honestly, I really just wanted to take a moment of your guys' time to really showcase two top choices. And honestly, I've tried quite a few different bolt action pens out there, and these are kind of my top two, and they've gotten better in these recent iterations. So I thought we should compare them, just for your reference. If you're out there and you're questioning, hey, should I upgrade, or if you have any previous iterations, or maybe you're just kind of new to the game and you're like, hey, I'm willing to spend $100 on this because I spend quite a bit on knives, I spend quite a bit on watches. Only a matter of time before I buy a really nicely machined pen. And these two bolt action pens are absolutely at the top of their game. So I wouldn't say that this is a which one is better versus the other, but I'll talk about some of the characteristics, and then maybe you can figure out which one's better for you. And if you are shopping around with these two pens against any others, I think hopefully I'll give you some reasons to make sure that these are the ones that you end up that you end up spending your money on, because I think that they offer absolute bang per buck. And some of you are probably thinking, wow, $100 for a pen, that doesn't sound like bang for buck. But some of you actually know that, yeah, there's some super expensive pens out there, not all of which are, hand machined here in the good old US of A out of titanium. So with all that said, let's zoom the camera out, get these pieces in hand, and take a closer look. All right, now before we pick these up, quick customary wristwatch check. I got my Helios on today, my Fairwind, as you can see. So that's what's going to be flopping around the wrist. I figured it'd be a good pairing with these because it just is one of those things that is absolute bang per buck. I mean, this is ridiculously well machined and done and put together, well spec'd, well designed, for not that much money. And yes, it doesn't carry some big brand name. These are not in the pen world, in the pen industry. Tactile Turn and Urban Survival Gear are absolutely not big brand names, but what they do offer you is amazing product. So same with Helios, although not a huge brand name. Hey, here's two options that are also not huge brand names, but offer tons of value. So we have the mini TiScribe-Bolt, and then we do have the short slim bolt action. So pretty close in terms of length if you look here, just slightly longer on the Tactile Turn side. And then you can see even from their thickness, very, very close as well. I'd say that the slim is a little bit slimmer. It didn't always used to be the case. And honestly, one other thing to mention, guys, this is specifically to talk about bolt actions. So are there other options and actions out there? Abso-stinking-lutely. So let's take a quick look. I mean, even from Tactile Turn's own house and own catalog, you get a side click, top click action. Very, very cool. That's an option. Even for, let's say, Pena knives, you get a cool little option there. Oh, man, that hydraulic click on there is beautiful, and this is a handsome piece. Clicker actions, more clicker if you want to get down. Here's something from Rip's Garage Tech. A little bit more of a tactile click on there, all titanium, all machined as well, with a nice kind of brushed finish, which I really like. It kind of goes with the watches there. So there are some other options when it comes to actuation for pens, guys. You can have some traditional clicks, right? So, ooh, that's a smooth Swiss-made click action right there. So there's a lot of options, even let's say from the land of the rising sun, Japanese. Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful click. So there's a lot of different options, but there's something about the option of, ooh, yes, bolt action. There's just something about it. Do I love it because I was in the Marines for like 9 years and 10 months? Maybe that's some of it, but I'm not alone. A lot of people like these, and I can absolutely see why. They're really just, they have a fun actuation, and here's two prime examples of kind of, you know, I think on opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of what you can have, but still be quite quality. So here you have something that is definitely all about, you know, the clean, minimalist, modern. This looks like a futuristic pen. Everything is tucked, smoothed. It's just shaved and gorgeous. I mean, everything about this pen is just, man, look at that. But it's at the same time, it's a tool. It's a working piece. It has that matte stonewashed finish there, which just keeps it from really being something that is it's very understated and purposely so, which I like. Here though, you have with the slim bolt action from Tactile Turn, something that just feels quite premium and expensive and looks expensive, honestly, when you just look at it because of this machined finish. And then now you have the machined pocket clip as well. But this one does have exposed screws, so they're not tucking a lot away. But what that does is it actually adds a little bit of symmetry and balance because you have the machined circular screws as well as this machined circular bolt action there. So very, very nice from that standpoint. All internally sealed. You can see even when it's open, there's still no gap there, so nothing's getting in. So it's very sealed and silent. And then the shaft itself has these grooves all the way down from the bottom to the top, and it actually makes finding the seam, because you can unscrew the tip, a little bit harder to find. But if I do this, you can see there it is right there. So, and then a little magic trick. Now it's gone. So very, very fine and tight tolerances there. And not to say that these aren't fine and tight, but there's just a different approach here. And even in the bolt action here, it's just, you know, instead of it being integrated into one thing, which is very nice and easy to use, even with my right hand and I'm left-handed. What I like about this is, although this is integrated and it's, you know, quite versatile from that standpoint, it's an outstanding clip and an outstanding actuator. But this is just, it just focuses on doing the one thing, right? And it just ends up, look at that. You can hit it at a different angle. You don't even really need to. And then you don't need the jimping, right? So here you have the jimping, because otherwise you would have been, on the previous iterations, you would have been pulling down on a clip that was kind of like this, squared off like that. Here, I mean, you just down and swipe, 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 swipe. Here, you can do similar swipes, but you can just kind of do like a little pushover, which is really nice. And then also with the clip being stationary, you know, it's exactly, it has more of a stable feel. Not to say that it actually is more stable, but it just does, it gives you that impression, because it's not necessarily trying to clean or tuck anything. It's more just, hey, this thing's got lines, looks great. Also, guys, one thing I'll mention, I'm not going to be writing with these because they both come with the same insert, the Schmidt EasyFlow 9000. It's not proprietary to either of these models. Honestly, you'll find them in a lot of EDC style pens because it's a great insert. So no point in me scribbling out and saying how well it performs. But if you look at the tip here, look at the tip tolerance, you can see not a lot of gap there, not gonna be any wiggle. Let's bring this guy in here as well. More of the same there. Look at that. The level of craftsmanship there is just, it's mind-blowing. I love them both. I'm so happy to have them both. But yeah, it's tough to think, if gun to my head, if I had to choose one or the other. It's a tough call, because I feel like aesthetically this just sings to me. It just does. It just has a look that I love. It just fits that aesthetic that I really enjoy. You know, and it goes back to pocket knives and the minimalism and that side of things. And it's, for me, this is like a pen that really sings and speaks to me, just on the aesthetic. And then of course you get into the fit and finish, and you get blown away. And both of these are, you know, machined out in Texas, and they do amazing work, guys. But then on the other end of the spectrum, I pick up something like this, and yeah, I think it gives me another kind of vibe. I guess like this gives me more of a premium vibe, where here it gives me more of like a luxurious vibe. This thing is just done beyond what it needs to be. Like, this texturing, does it need to have it along the whole body? Do the tolerances need, like, no, it doesn't need any of those things, but it has them, and it's ultra impressive. And it's nice. And I don't know, maybe this pen makes me feel like it goes with watches a little bit more because of the machining and the brightness, right? You look at the brushing and the bright, and then this makes me think more of pocket knives, just because of the kind of dull, matted, just you know, kind of workhorsey type style, right? Let's look at this little Kaiser Yorkie here from Ray Laconico, right? It just has that matted handle, and gosh, I have so many knives that are within this vein, and a lot of them are, yes, designed by Ray Laconico as well. But then I have other stuff too that's, you know, like this little guy from Quiet Carry, the IQ. And yeah, it just, that minimalist, just matte, kind of futuristic design. I dig it. There's something about that, and it just goes well with this Urban Survival Gear pen. It's just, for me, right, it's a nice pairing. It's a good match. But then on the other side, yeah, I feel like this is a little bit more versatile, a little bit more luxurious feeling, and ultimately is just a little bit, it just seems more special, although this feels absolutely equally as well crafted. It maybe doesn't feel as special just because of the nature of the more industrial appeal with the fit and the finish, which, I mean, again, is totally in line with what I like. I have so much gear that looks like this, that is a stone washed or matte finished, bead blasted titanium. I even do have those. I have watches that are in titanium that are blasted as well. So I mean, this is obviously an aesthetic that I love, but there's something about this, the machining on this, that it just jumps out at you visually. And then when you have it in hand, the tactile feeling of all this grip, just purchase that you get, it just gives you, there's something special about that. And it's hard for me to put my finger on it, but it just locks itself in, and it just gives you more, right? And in a way that's how luxury is. It's more than you need, versus here, it's giving you exactly what you need, but in an amazing, amazing way. And it's just clean and minimalist. Oh, man, and this fidget factor here, it's nice. There's something about this little puck that makes it feel more like a bolt action, you know, traditional kind of bolt action move there, versus here, this is definitely more thoughtful. I feel like a little bit more over-engineered, but with that over-engineering comes something truly special and just functional and beautiful. So guys, I mean, I recently did individual reviews of each of these pens, so if you want to get the full details, definitely check them out. But these are absolute winners. There's no losers here. If you end up with this pen, hey, awesome. You end up with this pen, also awesome. If you end up with them both, welcome to the club, because these things are gorgeous. I love it. It's just, you know, absolute man candy. From that standpoint, in the same way that we love mechanical watches because of all of the craftsmanship and the mechanics that's inside to keep this thing going, I feel like you get that same type of vibe, of course, with pocket knives and pens, because there's just a certain level of fit and finish and design and execution that you love. So let me know what you guys think of these pens. What are some of your top picks as well in the Bolt action realm? You know, let me know. So if you like these, you know, leave a comment, leave a message. But if you like the channel, also hit like and maybe leave a message and subscribe for more content just like this, because these two pens are outstanding and you should definitely check either of them out, because I'm thrilled with them. All right, thanks guys.